What's up? What's going on, everybody? Good to see all y'all. It's your boy Texas Jayhawk back again for another episode of Just Talking Ball, and I got my guy with me as always, Eric Foster. What's going on, E? How you doing, man?
Better days.
Yeah, yeah, definitely for you at least. Yeah, definitely for you at least. Another exciting week. Nevertheless, whether who won or lost, another exciting week of exciting week of football. Excuse me. Some upsets. Stories are starting to develop. It's the what's the term ESPN used? Too early for a reaction type deal going on, and some storylines of teams and this and that. And you and I talk a lot. We try not to fall into the whatever they see, people just take it and run. Oh, this guy should be fired. Oh, this team is this and that. I mean, obviously, you hear about the Florida storylines, you hear about the Alabama storylines, and then I saw earlier today there was a woman who I guess apparently is an AP voter, and she talked about her process, and she was getting scrutinized. I guess because she was kind of real like just like lackadaisical about it. She was laughing about it, but she had moved teams up that had won, and teams that had won, she had moved them down in the poll. And it was, and like she said, there's a lot of AP voters in this poll, and that polling doesn't mean nothing. It's good to say I'm on the number one AP poll, number one team. It's good to say we were number 3 in AP for however many, but at the end of the day, you still got to line up and play. That's why you do play, and that's why you do keep score, man. So it's a lot of stuff developing, man.
Well, I
So
think right now it's showing the cracks in the
mhm,
BCS system that people never wanted to talk about because the
mhm,
computers were a composite of the coaches poll, the AP poll, of the computer generated numbers, right? So because now we're seeing, and it's common sense, overwhelming majority of the AP voters are voters that write for a specific team,
mhm,
right? So
mhm.
if they're writing for a specific team, that's who they're watching on Saturdays. They don't got time to run home
Yeah,
and watch other games. We certainly can't ask that they're going to rewatch games and
yeah.
devote 10 hours of their Saturdays and Sundays to
Mhm,
watch football. We know
right.
college coaches definitely aren't watching
Mhm,
other teams play unless
mhm,
they're, within a week or so of that
mhm.
game. So
Yep. Yeah.
it's not new. It's what has always happened, which is why I'm glad that we are charging now. Don't even get me started on the qualifications of some of the people we put on the playoff committee. But at a minimum, right?
Mhm,
I'm glad that we have people who are tasked with watching all of the games, watching all of the teams, and I know that at least half of the room, right, are
mhm.
coaches, are ads, are people that know football. So that part of it, we're in a better spot. So
Yeah.
I can't
It,
I
it's
ain't
it's
a whole lot of complaining I got on that front.
but that's just you. Somebody's gonna have something to complain about. That's just the
No
world
matter
we
what,
live in. Yeah,
no
exactly.
matter what.
Exactly. The world we live in is fun. It's crazy because the advancement of technology, especially social media, has created full transparency,
Yep.
but a lot of things some people don't understand, and then it's just criticism. And yeah, on the other hand, it is good to kind of put it out there and let it be seen and say, okay, how can we improve this? And we've lived through, or at least I've lived through a lot of different voting systems, and from back in the day, from wherever you voted in the beginning of the year, you better hold on, because if you lose one, this team jumps up and that's the national championship, or whoever finishes number one is the national champion, rather than just having a national championship game. So I mean, from 1983 or 84 to what I can remember to now in present day, obviously it's been some advance, but human error, human people, and that's the whole thing. Humans play the game, humans vote, humans coach it. It's gonna have some human error somewhere along the line, and because it may affect your specific team, then it's like, no, that's wrong, because you won't be complaining if it benefits your team. But
True.
nevertheless, so let's get right into it, man. Let's talk about it. Intro, we're bringing it back because obviously, if y'all know, I've got one big thing to be mad about. I don't know what E could be mad about, but we're gonna recap Texas San Jose State. He's going to talk about, kind of preview, what's to look forward to this week against UTEP. We'll recap Kansas, Missouri, border war, border showdown, whatever. do some chalk talk, man, and we'll get into some games that we're gonna be on the lookout for and get going, man. So we're gonna rock and roll. So first of all, if I may, the first one of the year, and it is, what are you mad about? And I'm just gonna go. Yes, I'm mad. We lost Saturday to those scrubs, man, in Missouri. I mean, it was a good game professionally. Missouri did what they had to do to win the game, and the coaches took chances. They did what they had to do. I'm going to get into it a little deeper, but the Jayhawk in me, the alum in me, the ex-player in me, it's just it burned me up. Great game, but just I'm so mad, and I'm talking about it right now on a Thursday. I'm still mad about it, and I don't know, 363 days, 362 days, whatever, until the next one. I don't know exactly, but it's gonna be a long wait. But we got them in Lawrence, and oh, how crappy did they stadium look with that construction going on? Yeah, you could say it's progress, but maybe we're just a little more liked. Chiefs gave us their stadium for our when we had our renovations going on, and $400 million later, you see what it is. But anyway, what are you mad about, man?
I'm mad about these other fan bases stealing Texas's swag, right? We're the ones supposed to be outrageously upset about overly inflated expectations. We're the ones supposed to call for coaches to get fired in year 2 on the job. That's our thing. All right. That's us, and I'll share with Ohio State, right? That's our thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But you got the Floridas, you got the Bama fans now trying to creep into our lane, wanting to be like us,
My bad.
Um, and in sincerity, some of them are right.
Mhm.
Alabama, especially at this stage, will never under any circumstances at any time accept losses to not unranked non-conference opponents.
Mhm.
Those days are gone. They will never accept it. Florida will never accept being the third best program in the state of Florida.
Yeah,
Never gonna happen.
yeah.
So somewhat rightfully so. I think um, some of those I think we kind of and I guess it just goes into this annoyance of this the coaching. I'm all for standards and upholding that standard and all, but for the coaching carousel to be hot in week 2
Thank you. Thank
is
you.
insane. But Billy Napier's up there, uh, Mike Gundy,
That,
with
that was
with
that was
no
the
T
ugly one.
Boone to say he's gonna stay, no matter what. Without those things,
Yeah.
you're probably looking at those guys on
That,
borrowed time.
yeah, that was a rough one. If I can recall, I forgot who Oklahoma State played, but
Notre
it,
Dame,
it was ugly. It
or
was
sorry, Oregon.
no
I'm saying
Oregon.
Notre Dame, but I'm
Oregon,
looking at the
yes,
Atlantic.
yeah, it
So
was. It was, and I
Oregon.
and I didn't think I picked Oregon to win, but I didn't think it would be at that.
I know it would because of the buildup. I think it's one of those games that if Oregon just goes to play, they play and they probably get out of there and they cover the spread, no big deal.
Yeah.
But I think when you start talking about money and all these other things that are gonna attract even more attention and a few more eyeballs to the game,
Mm-hmm.
Dan Lanning knows what to do with that. Like, oh, okay, you want to talk about money? Well, let me show you. Let
Yeah.
me show you
Yeah.
what all this money does.
Yeah, because I've starting to notice he's always kind of in a little undercover, kind of passive aggressive bickering match with opposing coaches, and it is what it is, and you're gonna ride for your team. Yeah, it is whatever. Nevertheless, that's the team that lost. Let's talk about the team that finally did win. Let me give homage. Let me go ahead.
Finally did win. It's crazy. That is crazy.
So Texas takes down San Jose State. I'll let you kind of go ahead and kick this off and give me your thoughts on it. I just thought
Yeah,
early.
I'll give you a high level thoughts. I
Yeah.
know we're running through highlights, but sort of, what did we need to see? We need to see Texas attack the ball on defense. We needed to see downfield plays. We needed to see some of those things just to kind of allay the concern. So now, next week, this upcoming week, you layer in, I'll go into depth here in a second, but you layer in, just expanding on that. How
Yeah.
can we do, can we show some flashes in special teams, which we did with above average kickoff returns? We made a 47-yard field goal. We punted the ball really well. So those are the kind of things that, if you know what you're looking for relative to last year, you see improvement. Not enough, right? Because in coming up this week, I think at some point, if you're truly a top five, top three, number one team in the country, you're going to have to get to a point to where you gel and you get the chemistry and you start to dominate games like this.
Yeah.
I thought Texas adjusted well. You're showing a couple of the early highlights
Mm-hmm.
from San Jose State, and they were getting killed over the middle, right? When they were playing man, they were running those pick routes, they were running those easy dig-ins, and they were having some success. But Texas adjusted. We've got probably the best, some of the best secondary coaches in the country, and Dwayne Aquina back at home. I thought some of those things showed again in just how physical the secondary was and how they attacked the football. I thought Arch made some plays. I'm gonna break with my boy. I don't disagree with Sark too much, but it is obvious Arch Manning had some pain on a couple of
Uh-huh.
throws, the way he was wincing. So I don't know. To get on TV and be like, who told you that?
Yeah.
My damn eyes. That's who told me. Uh,
I
so
mean,
I thought, it was maybe not intentional, but it was a bit disingenuous. So I don't know. I would have liked to see, either just, hey, just general soreness, which I think everyone knows, or, hey, it was just a bad angle and, it kind of twinged him a little bit. I know he's not hurt because he went
yeah,
on to have,
exactly.
a couple more plays. He's throwing the ball 50 yards down the field. So he, is he hurt beyond repair where we should be concerned? No. But to tell us, who you gonna believe, me or your lying eyes?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
One thing I want to ask you about that. Tell me, and this is my opinion, but you may agree. Tell me what you feel about the slow start. I mean, yes, San Jose State practices too, but like it was a bit of a slow start, I thought, for Texas as far as like maybe not even like talk about the spread, but just Texas versus San Jose State, two teams. I mean, obviously Texas is highly favored. Texas has more elite players, but like just I mean, what do you think about the slow start that Texas had?
So I think I think the slow start would have been a concern if they hadn't gone on to explode the way they did,
Yeah,
right? Because okay, slow start. I think you punt on the first two drives, then score, turnover, score, turnover, score,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that probably allayed any of the concerns or fears that that moment may have built up. But it's okay when it's how it happened for me, right? Because was some of the action there? Yes. Were some of the plays there? Yes. We just didn't execute. I think a slow start where some of the stuff you need to be there is not even there. A little concerned. Also, that tells me, we're going to weather some adversity because, regardless of how you feel about certain teams on the schedule, we have quite a few teams that are at least capable of throwing some adversity our way.
Yes, yes, they're
So
capable.
we
Yes,
may have the talent edge, but going to Gainesville, there's going to be some adversity. Going to Dallas, there's going to be some adversity. Going to Starkville,
yeah,
right? We just saw what they did to Arizona State.
yeah. How
Well,
about Coach
I don't
Levy?
think that I don't think they were the 12th best team in the country anyway, but
Yeah,
they were a good team,
yeah,
and Mississippi State made it difficult. So
yeah.
I think just being able to show that, regardless, because better than anybody, those are the kind of games almost that you press maybe a little more because you're like, damn, we should be killing them, and we're not.
Exactly.
So
And
then you try to play outside of
mhm,
yourself, you try to do too much. So the fact that we were able to not do those things, there's some silver lining. So I look at I'm not typically a glass half full guy, so that's not my nature.
yeah,
But I tend to see that with more good than bad.
yeah. And this is the thing I was gonna say too, and you'll know you'll agree that Manning name it speeds up his timetable for people that just, I mean, because he's a Manning, that speeds up his timetable. And it's this kid has had his fourth start, I guess his fourth start, and it's like, oh, he should be just lighting it up. He's still getting the feel. Nothing, I don't care what you do in the off season, there still is nothing that can replace game reps and game experience, because there are just some things that are going to be out of the coach's hands, and you've got to trust your players to make those decisions. I always laugh, and when that came to me, I think about Coach Brown, and he talks about when Kansas, back when Vince Young was there, and Kansas had Texas on the ropes, and it's fourth and like 15 to 20, and Vince Young drops back and he pulls it down, and he's screaming, no, 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 and then Vince gets the first down, like, good job, son. So it's just some of those things that you cannot coach, and he's gonna get there, man, but it's not the way people think. I
And
mean,
it
it's
all
just,
depends on what kind of eyes you're looking at
yeah,
it with.
exactly.
Because me, I never once believed that as good as I believe Arch Manning will be
Mm-hmm.
a year from now, when 2 years from now when his career is over at Texas, I never believed that he was going to be that guy in week one,
Yeah.
in week two, week three. The hope always was, could the team around him play well enough, and could he manage a game to get a win in Columbus? No, was the answer to that.
Yeah.
Now the next 3 weeks, it's, can you get better? Can you build to where you can manage the team to a win in Gainesville, manage the team to a win in Dallas, and then go into a place like Athens? You probably have to go and win that game, right? So that was kind of the growth you want to see. Can you manage, and then can you develop in that management to go and actually put a game on your back and go win it?
Yeah.
I thought that was
Days.
always the time. I thought that was always the timetable for me.
Yeah. And it's realistic, and it's like you say, it's just people pull up on Saturday, and they, well, let the machine do it. Let's win. And then they either hate it or they love it, go back to whatever. But Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I mean, it's all preparation. And there's no excuses. Just like, yeah, some people may say, well, that's what you're supposed to do. But dude, it's not that
And it's
easy.
like, did you watch any of the other Mannings?
Exactly. Winning is hard.
None of them ever came out of the box, Archie included, ready made. Did they get there because they have, the best pedigree at that position, of any family in the country? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And they had, and once again, good teams around them as well. I mean, as great as Peyton was, he didn't get a natty, but T. Martin did. But who was a better pro? So I mean, so you just, you never know. But that's in the books, and
Arch will get one. Take that to the bank.
Ooh, that's just because you want Texas to have one.
Arch will get one. Take that to the bank. Will it be this year or will it be next year? I don't know. But Arch will get one.
Well,
and he will be back for a second year.
You heard it here first. Oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt. All right, well, that's a wrap on that. So go ahead, tell me what your thoughts on UTEP. I don't know much about them. I know they've got a quarterback that's been around. That's a big time, had a lot of big time expectation around them. I'll say it at that.
So Archie Malachi, same QB class, 1 and 2. Malachi's had obviously a completely different college career, completely different trajectory, and obviously he landed himself in a program with players that aren't Texas, and no one is expecting the University of Texas El Paso to be the same as the University of Texas, but they're going to come in with a game, and their coaches, he's saying all the right things. He talked about, he showed the team, every Power 4 team or every G5 team that upset a Power 4 team so far this year, and they have the mindset of why not us, and I think that's what you have to do in a game like this.
Let it fly. Nothing to lose.
And if you're Texas, right, again, the 3 weeks of San Jose State, of UTEP, of next week, they were never Sam Houston. Yeah. They were never about who was across from you. It was always about what's in front of you, and and who's behind you, quite frankly, right? And can you play to the standard of the university? So that's what I look for Saturday is, can Texas come out and play to the standard? Can you get off to a faster start? can you layer some of the things that you did last week, right? Arch and Ryan Wingo have to build better chemistry. They've got to connect. They've
Yeah.
got to make some plays because as good as Parker Livingstone will be, I
Mhm.
think if he's your wide receiver one come the end of the year, you're probably in trouble.
Yeah.
Can we, get some more reps out of the run game while Trey Wiseman, who I believe is still going to be out this week, so can get
Well,
more reps?
did he get a neck or back injury from all that damn bling he had on? That was ridiculous. Is it
No, he was wearing
Miss
so what they
Mister
no,
Mister
you know
T
what they
son?
do when the kids who aren't playing, right?
Yeah,
They get all the jewelry from the kids who are, and they
yeah.
wear it like that.
That's
Um,
Texas. Put it in a safe. Lock it up. Jesus Christ. Because
hey man,
that
these
made him
these
look
kids,
bad. That made him look. If you didn't
no
know,
man, these kids love
oh,
it.
I know,
I
I
let
know.
them have it, man.
Yeah, well, they can. Yeah,
We
they can
you
have
ask so much. You ask so much of the kids on the
it.
field and off the field. If they want to have a little foolery here and
Oh yeah,
there,
it's their
go
money
for it, brother.
and it's the time. But yeah, he was out there. He was out there looking like
I mean, they could be like them. They could be like them kids from Georgia driving 100 miles an hour, smoking weed in the car.
boom, boom, boy. Well, that's
I'll take our problems any day.
yeah, no doubt. That's all right. Well, so yeah, I mean, got the win. We'll be there 3 o'clock Saturday, DKR. But it'll be exciting to see. I would look for them to start fast. For the most part, I can't think of a game off the top of my head where Texas didn't at least score on their second drive offensively, like just starting fast and getting things rolling. I mean, just the games I've seen in person. I wasn't talking about our game. Y'all lost that one. I meant like, just games I've been to. It's
Which
just
one? Not the last one.
you're right. You're right. Not the last one. I'm not gonna go back in the past. I got enough problems. I got enough problems to deal with. So let's move on. All right. So this is a point or a moment I didn't think I would have to experience, but you know what? I'm gonna be a man, and it is what it is. So border war, border showdown, man. We did not get the win. Kansas fell to Missouri. I didn't remember the score. It could have been like 40, 44, 20, 31, maybe 13. I don't know, but it was a game to remember and also a game to forget because now I've got to live with the fact that Missouri got us in the renewal of the border war. And I I don't know, man. I don't know how much of the game you watched, I don't know. I was there from the first kickoff to the zeros were on the scoreboard, and you know what, man? Looking at that game, before I get into any numbers, Missouri came out and they stuffed Kansas. I mean, they stuffed them. I don't know if it was 3 and out. Missouri gets the ball, and I mean, they marched down. I mean, running down our throats. They go and score on the run, but then hey, we blocked the extra point. Couldn't run it back. Got caught on like the 45. So it's 6-0, and then we wake up, and then we start making some things happen. Start making plays, and really putting some doubt in Missouri's mind. I mean, I know they really felt that Kansas has struggled in the Big 12 and they've thrived in the SEC fairly. I will say that. But like I said, it's a rival game and you throw those things out, but you cannot argue with the numbers. And it's for the game to have been as close as it was, it was 21-6 in the first quarter. We knock off 21 points, 14 offensively, and then 21 on the scooping. I mean, on the seventh one or 21st point, it was a scooping score on the defense. So we're 21-6, and you can kind of see it because we wasn't wrapping up, and that was something I mentioned in the first 2 weeks. Man, we got to sure up tackling. We got to make sure we're in position to get stops. And this running back, man, he was running hard. To his credit, he was hitting us in the mouth. He was the hammer, running the ball, and that's what you want as a running back coach. But looking past the disdain I have for Missouri, I thought them as a staff and as a team did what they had to do to win the game. And what I mean by that, I mean going forward on numerous fourth downs. I mean pulling every trick out the bag because I think they were on that thought, that line of thinking of this is a rival game. All that stuff doesn't matter as far as like how good are we. There had to be some answers. There's some questions answered about the quarterback. I don't know. I'll still take our guy, but when I talk about our guy too, man, I'll never be negative about him. We're in a game where people are watching you where you're coached. This is a competitive game. You're coached, and you have to be able to take coaching. Now, I'm not his coach, but as watching, he has got to do a better damn job of protecting the football. I mean, I don't in whatever capacity it is, whether it's throwing picks, whether it's fumbling, whether it's whatever, man. Like you've got to take care of the ball, man, because it starts with him. Meaning, he touches the ball every play. He touches the ball before anybody else does, man. And where Jalen Daniels did some great things with his legs, where he made some great throws. These are the things that stick out because I don't think we're still to a point as a football team where that turnover or that safety, we're good enough right now against a quality team like Missouri to still hold on to the win. You can't win games like that. And you can't win games by letting Missouri have 595 yards total offense where you only got 226. Our net yardage of rushing was 3. It was 3.
You won't get
Now,
anybody like that.
exactly. And that's not because we couldn't, well, we didn't do a good job running the football. We ran the ball 19 times to 30 pass plays. But obviously, when he fumbled and the old lineman,
It's fairly balanced.
yeah, when the old lineman went back, I'm going to give you another number in a minute. When the old lineman went and recovered it, they gave that as a loss of 25, So we would have had 28 yards of rushing if you take away that lineman getting the ball. So that's still not very good. Okay. So if we ran 49 offensive plays. 49 offensive plays. An average college football game is 65 to 70, just average. Now, in this day and age of spread, fast paced, up tempo, air raid guys, that jumps to like 85 to 100 plays. 49 plays, you score 31 points -1 from the defense, but time of possession 40 minutes and 20 seconds compared to 19 minutes and 33 seconds. Okay. I just, Missouri had 19 third downs and they got 10 of them. They were 53% on third down. We were 27% on third down. They were 4 of 5 on fourth down conversions, 80%. And we were 2 of 2, So, I mean, but these numbers, I mean, we had 2 drives in the first quarter. I think we had 12 plays in the first quarter. So look at this. First half, we had 25 plays. Missouri put together an 18-play drive and a 22-play drive. At one time, we didn't even have, I don't even think we saw the offense in the second quarter at one time. And that's when they made the run, end up tying up the game 21-0. So, I mean, I could run off these numbers, man. 28 first downs to 13. But at the end of the day, man, it is a rival game. And we were good enough to win. We were competitive enough. We did what we made plays. It wasn't like it was Missouri beating us. We beat ourselves, turning the ball over, not, drops at crucial moments, not tackling at the point of attack where this guy gets 3 or 4 and not 15 more yards, man. And it's obviously that I feel for him because I've been in that seat before. And it's going to be a little more critical because it was Missouri and because you had a chance to win. And now because you're trying to get rid of that kind of that lingering thought of, oh, sooner or later Kansas is going to be Kansas. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you and I talked, and we didn't talk much, but you sent me a text and you said, you got to put them away. And that's the consensus with everybody. I watched Brandon McAnderson and Chris Harris talk on their podcast earlier, and you got to put them away. We'll let them off the hook, and they started building confidence because I am 100% sure that Missouri was not sure. Missouri was not sure the way they played and the way they had to go for fourth downs, and they weren't sure about it, man. And then they were front running a little bit, but they, to their credit, they stuck in there. They found a way to come back and get the win. And then when we turn the ball over and can't convert at crucial moments, man, that's what happens. So
you're gonna force me, I think, to stick up for to stick up for Missouri a little bit in terms of saying Kansas lost it rather than Missouri taking it. Right? I think 600 yards of total offense. That just means you couldn't stop me. 261 on the ground, like that. That is, we talked about that prior to, right? that's a physicality thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is a
And he ran every part of. Yeah, they had two backs. They had two backs over 100 yards. So I 143 and 112. Ahmad Hardy ran like somebody had slapped his sister before the game. I mean,
yeah.
he ran angry, and he to his credit, man, he ran the rock hard.
And I think
I
if you're
just
Missouri, I think Missouri was playing in a way that I think when you are a fringe SEC program that's not going to get the benefit of the doubt, right? If it's a tie between Missouri and Alabama or South Carolina and Georgia, right? The deference rather, will go to the name. So
yes, the
I think
brand,
when
yeah.
you're Missouri and you go into a game like this, I don't really have room for error. I don't really have. I can't drop this game and then go win some mid-level games in the SEC and hope things are going to shake out for me in the end, a la, look at South Carolina last year that struggled kind of a little bit within the SEC, but they won some really good out of conference games, beating Clemson, etc. So I think they played with a lot of pressure. They played with a lot of physicality, and they made some mistakes, candidly as well. So again, I thought we knew the game would. The game is in the numbers, right? I think if we saw those numbers, we would know who won.
Yeah,
Rightfully
yeah,
so.
and I think it is another. And that's a great point, but I think it's another case of the numbers really didn't reflect what the game showed as far as like the way Kansas had control, but it's like okay, you missed a play there, but then it's like okay, we're holding on to this 21-6 lead, but we're not getting these guys off the field. It gets third down, they get a 3rd and 15, and then it's like a 4th and 1, and they convert it. Or it was a 4th and 7, and they converted. Like, come on, like you're not gonna win. I don't care what this. You're not gonna win like that if you can't get guys off the field. But and also 4th downs, man. That's low percentage, and they were 80% on 4th down. Damn near
When they went
60.
for it 4th and 7 and got it, I think that
Yeah,
was kind of when I was like,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
gonna have a bad day.
And I did. I didn't talk to many. Anyways, but it's behind us, and I really feel for those guys because they played hard. They did some good things, man. I saw some guys show up and make some plays. Deshaun Hanukkah, I'll get his name right, but our tight end, he made some plays, man. Number 10, I'm still learning these guys' names. I'm just watching the film, but guys showed up. Our running back is still getting healthy. Number 4, LaShawn, he's still trying to get healthy. I don't want to disrespect these kids. Let me get these kids' names right. LaShawn Williams, he had a shoulder injury, but he still ran, and yeah, Levi Wentz, number 10, made some plays, man. And my heart goes out to Emmanuel Henderson because he had a drop, and that was at a crucial time. And then you had Cam Pickett, who was coming back from injury. I don't know if it was an ankle or shoulder, but he made a few plays here. So collectively, I think they're building towards being like that core of the guys that left before, the Grim Reaper and Skinner and golly, number 2. Oh, I'm sorry, David leave me, but like they're creating a tandem. The tight end is kind of a little bit ahead and making plays and playing with a little more confidence. So we'll see, man. But I say,
Hey, shout out to Missouri's quarterback. He was nails. I thought.
Yeah,
I thought he was. David, coming out 30.
I thought he found
30 for 33, 391. We can dance around a lot, but if 30 for 33 and
I don't
400,
like
that's
I don't
you,
like it.
you've had yourself a day.
Yeah,
We got lucky.
yeah, you're right. And God, sorry. Anyway, these guys, the Jayhawks are on a bye, so they're gonna sit with that for a little bit longer.
And I think games like this are so psychologically tough
Yeah,
to lose because, again, the same thing I preached about us prior to Ohio State is you're going to get kicked around in the media for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Until you go play somebody else. Same way, right? You sit on this for a week.
Yeah.
Now you sit on it for a week, and then you go on. And I don't know who your first Big 12 opponent is, but that may
we play West Virginia. It'll be West Virginia.
Even that, right? You probably still get kicked around a little bit after that until you go play a Kansas State, till you go play a Colorado, till you go play
Arizona State.
Arizona State, a team that has some semblance of national respect.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I say, it's like you say, it's not about the man across from you. It's about what's in front of you, and you gotta
For some
you gotta.
people, for y'all, it was about who's the man across from you.
Well, no, I still, because we could have came out and won this game, and the numbers would still been lopsided, and it would have been like, okay, we escaped with one. So you telling me at the whole time of this game, you never felt like Kansas is probably going to win this game, even though time of possession was still lopsided. It was lopsided from like second quarter on. Like I said,
No,
12.
because they were still moving the ball, even at 21-6. And I text you, I said, textbook start. Even at that moment,
Mhm,
Kansas wasn't dominant, right? Because
mhm.
Missouri was still moving the ball.
Yeah,
Missouri was still having some
but
success.
they couldn't. But they couldn't finish. They couldn't
It couldn't
finish.
finish. It
Yeah,
felt like, okay, a couple changes here, a couple changes there.
yeah,
This could be a game. So then we talk about, what do we always go
yeah.
look at? The middle eight.
Hmm.
Kansas
Yeah.
has an opportunity to, now then you got yourself in a position. Now you can, that middle eight could have changed the game, but I don't think at any point I felt like I don't think at any point I felt like the game was over.
Yeah, I wouldn't say over. I will agree to an extent, but I felt good because we were also able to move the ball on them. I think it's a credit to their coaching staff going for it on those fourth downs because they took the ball out of our hands. Because just like we couldn't stop them, they couldn't stop us either. So a credit to them by keeping us on the sideline, and that's another way of stopping them.
That's what you
By
do.
keeping them off the field. If you can't stop them on the field, you keep them off the field. So yeah, you know, congrats, whatever. Ugh. Anyway, so yeah,
You
so
don't mean it.
Kansas is Kansas on the bye, this week. So like I say, I feel for those guys, man, but I'm still 100% rocking behind them, and they'll get it figured out. Great staff, so it is what it is. But it wasn't all bad. And what we're about to do now, we're gonna hit our first session of the season of some chalk talk. Put your ringer off, man. You're on a show, man. Turn your ringer off. But no, here we go. We got our first session of chalk talk. We're gonna talk about a sequence of 3 plays that kind of tie into each other. So check this out. So I want to apologize for the failed audio in this section. Right here, we're talking about running zone out of a pistol full house set. We're zoning to the right, and we have a read man to the left, and the quarterback is going to read that guy to determine whether he's going to give the ball or pull it. Okay, in this particular set or this look right here, the end slow plays it, he sits, so the quarterback gives a give read. And we're going to talk about it on the film right here. All right, here we go. So here's the full house pistol set. See the guy walk up, reading this guy right here. It's bad drawing, but you get the picture. Slow plays it. It's a give read. Get 3 out of it. Look at the end zone. See this guy right here? He's the read. We've got someone for 13 right here. Again, my apologies for the failed audio, but right here, so now we give the look. We got a pistol backfield set. We're in a 2x2 set. We're running zone to the right. Okay, so previous play we had the tight end in the backfield, and he went backside, split zone look, whatever you want to call it in your terminology. Now he's already there, but now we add an extra element of a jet motion, a speed motion by the receiver. We're still reading that backside in. Quarterback gets a pull read. Now he's got two lead blockers to go around the end.
Talked about the motion. Tight end's already down to where he needs to be. We're going to run zone. We're zoning everything that way. Tight end's going to be right here, backside, but he's going to leave the end man alone. He's going to leave the read guy right here alone. I don't know why I keep doing that. We got motion coming. Read guy shoots. Plays the run. Quarterback pulls it. Has two lead blockers. Get a body on a body. We need the receiver to find some work. He's kind of just out there cheesing the wind. Look inside. Nobody's outside. Look inside. Tight end does a good job bodying up. Gain of 4. It's a good job right there. JD6 saw it. He felt that guy. He knew he was pulling it.
Okay, here's the final look. We get it all drawn up on the board, but right now we go to a 12 personnel set, 2 tight ends in the game, twins to the left. We're still running zone to the right, but we're going to give that split zone look from the tight end in the backfield, but this time we're leaving the end man, but he's bluffing him. But what happens now, we get orbit motion. We'll push crack with the inside receiver, and what that tight end's going to do, he's going to influence and then get flat right now. Quarterback pulls it, gives it to him, and he throws it behind the line of scrimmage. That's why that receiver is able to go push, crack, and block right away. Leads to a touchdown.
12 personnel. We have a tight end right here. We got a tight end right here. We've got our running back in the pistol right here behind the quarterback, okay? Got a cut split. This the motion guy talked about on the board. Will end up being a 3-back set, almost a full house set like the very first play. Let it run. Orbit motion. Running zone to the right. Tight end does a good job bluffing, influencing that guy. Look, he gets flat right away. We talked about it on the board because this receiver right here is going to push and crack and come and get the first thing inside to protect the throw. They've got a blitzer and the read. Oh, come on. And the read guy played run. JD gets a little bit of space for himself. Easy throw. Touchdown.
So I thought that was a cool little scheme that they had zone read out of the pistol set. Gave Missouri some different looks, but it was the same setup. So, but yeah, that hope y'all learned something from that. All right, so now we're at the time where we're drawing closer to another week of games, and it's starting to pick up a little bit as far as like we're kind of out of the kickoff classic big matchup. Now where we thought some of these games were gonna be just warm up games. All of a sudden, for example, South Florida Miami is now a bigger game than what it was probably in week zero when you thought, I don't know, but what game are you gonna be having your eye on this week, E?
I'm watching Miami and USF. I'm watching Florida LSU. Because you need to know, right? Is that who Florida is, or is that an aberration? And they're able to right the ship and go get a absolutely grueling win to go try to win in Death Valley at night. Yeah. And I think there's something in that for Chip Kelly, because are we real?
Brian, you're talking about
Brian Kelly, sorry. Yeah. But no, watching that game, obviously, watching my Longhorns, I think I'm just going to keep it. I think I'm going to keep it all in the SEC family this week.
And and I mean, I know you care less, but on paper, Texas A&M Notre Dame looks like a game to be on the
That's in
lookout
the
for
family.
in
Yeah,
South
yeah,
Bend. Yeah. You
Go
know,
Irish.
yeah, you know, a little
For
my boy.
I wish them no success ever.
Funny enough, shout out to my boy Donnie Mathis, who I might have to have on the show the week of the Lone Star Shootout. He will be up there in South Bend to support his Aggies, so shout out to him. And you know, Incarnate Word UTSA, a little Battle of San Antonio, is this week as well. My little nephew David Brown Jr. is playing D line at Incarnate Word, so I'll try to definitely catch that on ESPN Plus. Hope them boys get the dub, but I can't. I'm just gonna have to be neutral because my boy coaches at UTSA, so I'm just gonna stay neutral. You know, whoever wins, we'll see. But yeah, probably like you say, the Miami South Florida game has probably the most intrigue about it just because of what South Florida has done. But man, but nah. But yeah, so that'll be exciting, man. Great show. Before we do get up out of here, there is two things I want to say. First of all, happy birthday to my brother who had a birthday earlier this week. We're September babies, and just want to pay honor to I don't want to use the word anniversary, but just the remembrance of 9/11, 24 years ago. Everybody remembers. I'm an Army brat, military. My dad served 42 years. So just in some capacity, man, just want to honor those people and always remember them. I can remember exactly where I was. That's going to age me, but I was in college, finishing up school. And, I remember just hearing about it and rushing to a TV and classes being canceled and just it was like it was a nightmare, man. But without getting too deep into that, I just wanted to just at least recognize our fallen all our brave women and men who served and sacrificed their lives. So man, anything else?
I concur.
Yeah. So man, no Jayhawk football this week. Oh, shout out to my high school, Ellison High School. They took the win over Killeen, over the rival. So one of my teams did, come through from me, yeah. So anyway, but I'm excited about seeing the Horns in person because it's ball. And, hopefully y'all can get to this dominant status that everybody in Austin thinks y'all are, it should be.
I think most people think we are, even outside of the city, which is what makes this for such a special year.
But that's it, man. Thanks for y'all rocking with us. Hope you enjoyed the show. As always, thank you, Eric. I'm grateful for it, man. Rock chalk, baby.
Praise the Lord and hook 'em horns, baby.
All right, we'll see y'all next week.
Hey, see y'all from Texas.